will you accept the request of the United States to allow daw po yung mga Afghan refugees in the country? Some groups and lawmakers have expressed concern that these refugees might be a risk to our national security. So what's your take on this, sir?
Well, there are many issues involved in that question. That's why I was a little surprised when I saw some of the news reports. There is a deal between the U.S. There's no deal. We're still looking exactly at how to make it work if we can. It's entirely possible that we will not find a way to make it happen. But we have a long tradition in the Philippines of taking in refugees, although these are not refugees. They're an entirely different class of person. They are Afghan nationals who are being resettled by the United States in the United States and or other places.
What would you do if your homeland turned into a battlefield overnight? Imagine the life you knew, the streets you walked, the laughter of children playing, all swallowed by chaos and fear. This is the devastating reality for millions of Afghans since the Taliban seized control. In 2021, the world watched in disbelief as Afghanistan fell. The hard-won progress of 2 decades vanishing in the blink of an eye. Images of desperation filled our screens. Families torn apart, a mass exodus of terrified citizens, the heart-wrenching cries of those left behind. The Afghan people, yearning for peace and stability, were once again caught in the crosshairs of conflict. The streets of Kabul, once bustling with life, transformed into corridors of panic. Mothers clutched their children, their faces etched with fear. Men, young and old, made impossible choices, weighing the danger of staying against the uncertainty of escape. The airport, the only gateway out, became a scene of utter pandemonium. The Taliban's swift takeover marked the return of a regime notorious for its brutality, its disregard for human rights and its oppression of women and girls. Imagine living under a regime that dictates your every move, where fear is a constant shadow and basic human rights are but a distant dream. For Afghans, this is the stark reality under Taliban rule. The Taliban's ideology, a twisted interpretation of Islamic law, has unleashed a reign of terror, particularly targeting women and girls. Gone are the days when they could pursue education, careers, or even walk freely without a male guardian. The regime has imposed harsh punishments, including public executions and amputations as a means of control. Arbitrary arrests and detentions have become commonplace, silencing any voices of dissent. The Taliban's brutal tactics have instilled a pervasive sense of fear, paralyzing a nation that had only just begun to taste freedom. Afghans, once hopeful for a brighter future, are now caught in a desperate struggle for survival. The international community, while condemning the Taliban's actions, has struggled to find a unified and effective response. Faced with unimaginable hardship and an uncertain future, millions of Afghans have made the heartbreaking decision to flee their homeland. The journey is fraught with danger, a perilous odyssey in search of safety and a chance at a new life. Families, driven by desperation, embark on treacherous journeys, often with nothing but the clothes on their backs and a flicker of hope in their hearts. Many Afghans, their dreams of reaching Western nations dashed by bureaucratic hurdles and closed borders, have found themselves seeking refuge in unexpected corners of the world. The Philippines, a country grappling with its own challenges, has emerged as an unlikely haven for a small but growing number of Afghan refugees. This archipelago nation, known for its warmth and resilience, offers a glimmer of hope to those fleeing the Taliban's tyranny. The journey to safety is a testament to the human spirit's indomitable will to survive, to endure unimaginable hardship in pursuit of a better tomorrow. The United States, with its long and complicated history in Afghanistan, plays a complex and often controversial role in the plight of Afghan refugees. The Biden administration's chaotic withdrawal in 2021 left many feeling betrayed and abandoned. Thousands were evacuated, but countless others, including journalists and activists, were left behind. Whispers of a US program to resettle Afghan refugees in countries like the Philippines have emerged. The US faces logistical and political challenges in providing safe haven to refugees. As the US grapples with its legacy, the fate of Afghan refugees hangs in the balance. The Philippines, a nation of over 7,000 islands, has emerged as an unexpected beacon of hope for Afghan refugees. While not a signatory to the 1951 Refugee Convention, the Philippines has a proud tradition of providing refuge. From Vietnamese boat people in the 1970s to East Timorese refugees in the late 1990s, the Philippines has consistently opened its arms to those in need. Amidst the heartache and uncertainty, stories of resilience, hope, and the enduring human spirit emerge from the Afghan refugee community in the Philippines. Meet Fatima, a young Afghan woman who fled her home with her family after the Taliban threatened to force her into marriage. In the Philippines, she dreams of pursuing her education and becoming a doctor, a dream that would have been impossible under Taliban rule. Then there's Ahmad, a former interpreter for the US military who escaped Afghanistan with his wife and children after receiving death threats from the Taliban. In the Philippines, he finds solace in the warmth of the Filipino people and the safety that eluded him in his homeland. Despite facing immense challenges, these individuals and families remain determined to rebuild their lives, clinging to the belief that even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can triumph. Their stories serve as a powerful reminder of our shared humanity and the importance of extending a helping hand to those in need. While the Philippines offers a safe haven from the immediate dangers of the Taliban, Afghan refugees face numerous challenges as they navigate an uncertain future in a new land. The language barrier, cultural differences, and the trauma of displacement can be overwhelming. Many refugees struggle to find work, secure stable housing, and access essential services like healthcare and education. The process of acclimating to a new culture, learning a new language, and rebuilding their lives from scratch can take a toll on refugees' mental and emotional well-being. The trauma of fleeing their homeland, leaving behind loved ones, and facing an uncertain future can manifest in anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. The Philippines, despite its best intentions, faces resource constraints in providing comprehensive support to refugees. The international community must step up and share the responsibility of supporting refugees, recognizing that their plight is a global issue that demands a global response. Even in the relative safety of the Philippines, the shadow of the Taliban's reach extends far beyond the borders of Afghanistan. The fear of being found by Taliban sympathizers, the anxiety for family and friends left behind, and the uncertainty of their own futures weigh heavily on the minds of Afghan refugees. The Taliban's resurgence has also fueled geopolitical tensions in the region, raising concerns about the potential for instability and conflict to spill over into neighboring countries. The international community faces the daunting task of containing the spread of extremism, addressing the root causes of conflict, and finding a lasting solution to the crisis in Afghanistan. The safety and security of Afghan refugees, both within Afghanistan and in host countries like the Philippines, depend on the international community's ability to work together to create a more peaceful and just world. The journey towards a more just and compassionate world begins with each of us. The plight of Afghan refugees is not an isolated incident, but rather a stark reminder of the global refugee crisis, a humanitarian catastrophe affecting millions worldwide. From Syria to Myanmar, from Venezuela to Ukraine, conflict, persecution, and climate change are forcing people to flee their homes in unprecedented numbers. The world is witnessing the largest displacement of people since World War II, a crisis that demands a unified and compassionate global response. The international community has a moral obligation to protect refugees, to provide them with safe haven, and to uphold their fundamental human rights. Yet many countries, driven by fear, xenophobia, and political expediency, are failing to live up to their international obligations. The global refugee crisis is not just a humanitarian issue, but also a security, economic, and developmental challenge. The world must come together to find durable solutions for refugees, recognizing that their plight is a shared responsibility that demands a shared commitment to action. The stories of Afghan refugees are a powerful reminder that behind the headlines and statistics are real people with hopes, dreams, and fears. Just like ours, they are mothers and fathers, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters who have endured unimaginable hardship in their quest for safety and a better life. Their resilience, their courage, and their unwavering belief in the power of hope serve as an inspiration to us all. We cannot stand idly by while millions of people are denied their fundamental human rights and forced to flee their homes. We must demand that our leaders take action to address the root causes of displacement, provide adequate humanitarian assistance, and create safe and legal pathways for refugees. We can all make a difference in the lives of refugees by supporting organizations working on the ground to provide food, shelter, healthcare, education, and legal assistance. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, can make a world of difference in the lives of those who have lost everything. The story of Afghan refugees is one of loss, resilience, and the enduring human spirit. It challenges us to confront our prejudices and recognize our shared humanity. Their stories remind us of compassion, empathy, and human connection. We must ask ourselves, what kind of world do we want to create? A world of closed borders and fear, or one of dignity and respect for all? Let us stand with refugees and build a world of peace, freedom, and dignity.